Now, welcome Park into the second half of the show. David has joined me. Good morning, David.
Morning, Damien.
We'll talk to you now in a second. David is one of the most important people in Waterford and the South East. I know you don't like saying that, but you are. And I'll explain it in a nice way because it's very important. And thank you so much for coming in. We're going to have a good discussion about what's a really important thing that people may feel won't affect them, but it does affect them. And I'm delighted that you've come in to join us. Thank you very much. Firstly, a few of your texts and comments. Damien, we had to go to removal of a funeral at the hospital last night. Difficult to pass the picket, but the picketers had no problem with us coming in and out, of course. I'd 100% support the strikers. That is from Eamon. A few people have texted in about picketers walking across them as they were walking in and saying a few little things, but nothing nasty, saying that there was some little things being said. So again, some difficult periods ahead, and the meeting is going on at the minute regarding the possible escalation otherwise of that dispute. And any dispute that goes on for longer than a few days can become quite tricky. Let us know what your texts and comments are about that. Damien, I'm a resident in Tramore and delighted to hear about the play park going up at Mount Sion. It will be very important. Another person saying, I'm a Marion Park resident and the playground in Lisduggan was vandalised a number of times, so they'll have to keep an eye on that. Damien, I was driving my mother in an outpatient appointment last week and there were some issues with the picketers as I was passing by. You can stop texting in now the Give Me a Break. We have a winner and we are going to be talking to this person later on in the programme. This person will be answering questions, as many questions as possible within 30 seconds. Quick fire questions. So he or she is not a winner yet, but we'll see how they get on. So David Kelly is Southern Assembly. What position are you on the Southern Assembly, David?
Good afternoon. Good morning, Damien. I'm the Director of the Southern Regional Assembly.
Director of Southern Regional Assembly.
Yes.
What is the Southern Regional Assembly?
Okay, the Southern Regional Assembly. I suppose if we go back a few years, the regional assemblies have been around since about 2000.
Yeah, I remember when they were set up.
Yeah. So back then there were two regional assemblies, one in the Border, Midlands and Western region and one in the Southern and Eastern region. Mainly set up to manage European structural funds. We've been doing that quite successfully, I suppose, over the last number of years. Probably invested about 1.2 billion in the region over that period, over successive programming periods. A couple of projects I could probably point to in Waterford that were funded. And
hit me with a few.
So if you look at the Apple Market, the work that was done in the Apple Market, that lovely public realm area there, we gave grant aid to Waterford City and County Council to develop that. So it really was support for the
Okay, so let's
council.
explain from a layperson's perspective how this works. You basically are facilitators. You have built up a bank of knowledge, because a lot of these forms that you get, and I remember doing it, we're just talking about the playground and Passage, and if you're looking at developing twinning with, we'd say, Wales and different villages and towns, oh my God, these forms and these documents can be hundreds of pages long. So you have a bank of experience. You know where to get the money.
We do, yes. That's part of our remit, and we've built up a lot of expertise. We have a lot of skilled staff who've been working on this for a number of years, but we also directly manage programmes as well. So one of the programmes that we directly manage is called the Southern and Eastern Regional Operational Programme, and that's the one we've been managing successfully over 3 programming periods now since 2000. So it was through that programme that Waterford City and County Council got grant aid to develop the Apple Market. So they effectively put in a bid to us to receive grant aid for that funding.
And that money would come from the programme, which is coming from the EU.
Yes, part funded through the EU, yes, exactly. So about 50% grant aid will come from the EU over a seven-year cycle.
Okay, so it makes public realm spaces like that possible.
Absolutely. Another good example in Waterford City is the Waterford Crystal Centre as well. So that was funded to the previous programme period. So there's a raft of projects like that all across the country, but not only in public realm. We funded areas in enterprise development. So the local enterprise offices would receive funding through the regional programmes. Quite a lot of funding goes into research and innovation, so through the third level institutes, WIT, the HEIs and so on. We would have funded some tourism projects down through the years. So a really good example is the Cliffs of Moher Interpretive Centre in Clare. So really nice, impactful project.
And the Southern Assembly covers effectively the entire south of the country.
Yes. So in effect, the regional assemblies were set up under the Local Government Act. So a little bit like, we can have a similar constitution, if you like, to a local authority. There's an executive wing, but there's also a political wing. So our members, if you like, are elected members to the constituent local authorities and then nominated onto the regional assembly. So there's no direct election to the regional assembly.
Okay, so you have councillors. So there's 2 Waterford councillors that sit on the regional assembly. You have 2 Clare councillors. You have 2 Wexford councillors. So they all come together. An assembly building, assembly house is down on O'Connell Street, and it was there and been regenerated and moved and has been offices. So effectively you're civil servants, but you're civil servants with a remit to generate business, generate economic movement, generate social cohesion. It's effectively a combination of bringing government, local councils, people and Europe together.
That's very well put, Damien. So effectively we're the regional tier. So you have national government, you have local government, and we're the regional tier then in the middle of all of that, I suppose, in a sense, to bring it all together, to align it.
Because some people would say, why have the regional assembly? But when you think about it, why not have it? It's essential that you have it, because the idea of 3 or 4 people in Waterford City Council having to apply directly to Brussels or Strasbourg for European funding, to do their head in, it wastes time. So they talk to you talk to them, and you work it out. How many people work with you?
We have a staff of 24. So it's quite small, but when you think of the wide array of work that we do. So it's kind of split 50-50 between the regional planning piece, which is a new piece of work that we got, and we can talk about that shortly, and the managing of the EU funds that we've been doing for quite a number of years. I suppose just an important thing to say at this stage, Damien, as well, because we were set up under the Local Government Act, with the local government reform that happened in 2014, it also affected the regional tier. So you remember that the town councils were abolished, Waterford City and County Council were amalgamated and so on. But there was a rationalisation and a reconfiguration happened at regional level as well. So as I said initially, there were 2 assemblies set up in 2000. After 2014, the regional structure was rationalised because there were also 8 lower level regional bodies as well at the sub-regional level, the South East, Midwest and so on. So they were all rationalised into 3 bodies. So now we have 3 regional assemblies which manage European funds, but we've also taken on a very important role in terms of the regional planning aspect as well.
And we're going to talk about that planning because we had Rob Cass in before, we had another councillor on, Mr. Phelan, and we had different people talking about it because some people were giving out about the strategic plan, and this is a plan effectively setting out the stall for Waterford and the South East and the entire south of the country in combination with Government 2040. A plan about how towns, how cities and how villages are going to develop. So we're going to talk about that next. Now, welcome back to the programme. This is the first time that David Kelly has spoken on Waterford Local Radio about this. David is the director, I suppose, of the Southern Regional Assembly. As you've heard, it's a combination of full-time 24 staff with elected officials, which are, some people would say it's like a glorified council, but it's not. These are people that are bringing a mandate from the different councils, going from Clare, the Cliffs of Moher, Lisdoonvarna, my mammy's home place, all the way down to Carnsore Point and beyond. Waterford has a metropolitan area strategic plan. It also has a county plan, and as we know, these plans are only as good as their implementation. So within this, for example, it talks about Waterford Airport, it talks about the North Quays, it talks about different aspects of developing Waterford City, County and the South East over the next 10 years, we'll say 15 years. David Kelly, there has been some criticism that this plan will not work and that the figures that you're using are wrong because previous plans didn't deliver on what they said they were going to deliver. How can we believe ye that this is actually going to work?
Okay, look, I suppose it's a fair question, Damien. Maybe if I just kind of put it all in context, I suppose, in the first place. Where is this all coming from? It is projected over the next 20 years or so that the population of Ireland is going to grow by about 1 million people.
Okay, so we've got around 5 million at the minute. We're looking at 6 million.
We're looking at 6 million. 50% of that will probably be natural growth. 50% will probably be inward migration. The demographics are changing, so we're going to have an older population and so on. So we really have to think about, okay, where are these people going to live? Where are they going to work? How are they going to get to work? Where are the kids going to go to school? All of those type of things. And we have to think about that and plan for that well in advance into the future. As part of that planning, we have to, I suppose, draw on the lessons of the past, which is getting, I suppose, to the point that you raised. So we had the National Spatial Strategy. Did it really work? Probably not. So we have to learn from that.
Probably not is an understatement.
Yeah.
I remember Martin Cullen, I remember that launch of that plan, and it was really great and the great idea, and we're going to create these hubs and these gateway cities, and effectively everything just then grew out of Dublin.
Absolutely. And look, in fairness, when you look at the National Spatial Strategy, there was a lot of good stuff in there. It's just that it wasn't implemented.
Yeah.
There was no funding package behind it. So we have to learn from that. So we have to learn from the fact that everything was migrating to the east, to Dublin. We have to learn from the fact that in a lot of, I suppose, the other towns and cities, there's a lot of urban sprawl, longer commutes, all of the problems that come with that. So then, I suppose, the national planning framework at the higher level was the tool that was put in place, I suppose, to resolve that. To really put a very clear framework in place on how the country should develop properly to address all of these issues and to accommodate the extra million people.
Because some people would say that Limerick developed far quicker than Waterford, Cork obviously has a bigger centre of population, Galway as well, and Waterford was being left behind.
Yeah, and look, I think that's a fair observation. So, what the National Planning Framework, one of the key objectives of the National Planning Framework is to redress that balance. So, it has a key focus on balanced development, balanced regional development. So, within that, then it sets out that 50% of that population growth will happen outside of the Dublin region. Okay, it also sets out that 50% of the growth will happen in the cities. So with that, then, that puts a key focus then on the three regional cities, if you like, in our region, in the southern region, Cork, Limerick and Waterford, as key drivers of economic growth for the region. The regional spatial economic strategy then comes in at that level. So the objective of the RSES, or the Regional Spatial Economic Strategy, is effectively to translate the objectives of the National Planning Framework down to regional level.
And that means, for example, the development of the airport. You talk about things called key enablers. These are priorities that will help transform any area. A person has texted in that some of the key enablers for Kilkenny and Wexford look like they're more advantageous for their areas rather than Waterford. In the key enablers you're turning into here, you're talking about the airport, you're talking about the North Quays, you're talking about population projections. Some people saying Tramore is not identified maybe as it should be as a key enabler, and yet Tramore is a dormitory town. There are some business developments there. Strategic employment locations. We can't go through it all. What about the key enablers? Let's say, for example, the airport. What do you want to see happen at the airport?
Well, look, obviously the airport is a key piece of infrastructure for not only for the city, but for the region.
Is it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Why is it?
And there is a commitment in the National Development Plan and the NPF to develop and evolve the airport. The airport acts as a conduit for business.
Not at the minute.
Not at the minute, absolutely. But I suppose we have to remember that this plan, this strategy, is a 12-year. It's a long-term plan. So we have to move from a situation where everything was moving east. So it's a bit like turning a big oil tanker. It takes time, but you need to get the oil tanker on the right path. And that's what this framework is all about, getting that development process on the right path. In effect, what we're trying to do is move away from developer-led development to plan-led development. And with that, then, you're building up the cities and all of those key enablers and key infrastructures around it. So the airport, absolutely. The ports, absolutely. But also the road linkages. We need to have the strong road linkages. We now have two very good linkages to Dublin, but we need the east-west link.
Yeah, like the road to Limerick is still horrendous. It's awful.
It is. The road to Limerick is still quite poor, but there is a commitment in the National Development Plan and the National Planning Framework to look at that in terms of pre-appraisal and to improve that to the level it needs.
Like if you didn't have the airport as a key enabler in this document, then councils and government could literally push the airport off the agenda.
Absolutely. And that's the really key point, Damien. That's the key point. That with all of those in the strategy, it ensures that they're still on the agenda. And just going back to the point that you made earlier about the National Spatial Strategy and the fact that it didn't work, there are two key strengths to the Regional Spatial Economic Strategy. The first one is it has a statutory basis. The National Spatial Strategy didn't have that. What that means is that the local authorities, when they're developing or updating, renewing their city and county development plans, have to align their development plans with this strategy.
Okay, so when the council...
Go on. One final point on that. The other piece is that national bodies, national agencies, government departments also have to bear this in mind.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way flow. So they can't ignore what's in this strategy either in terms of identifying their priorities.
They can't go off on a solo run. Waterford Council, when they're voting on their next 5-year development plan, they have to look at this and say everything we do has to fit in with this and work with this.
Absolutely.
And they can learn from it as well.
They can learn from it.
And you've learned from them as well, because there have
Absolutely.
been all the councils have put in proposals and views.
And that's the other key strength that I was going to mention, that we didn't write this sitting in our ivory tower on O'Connell Street. We worked with everybody in the region, local authorities, state agencies, general public, key government departments. So there's a huge, wide, extensive consultation process that went on for about 2 years.
Some people consulted with you better than others. There would have been some councils that would have been more reactive and proactive.
I would say no, Damien. I'd say
everybody was open.
Absolutely. Every local authority worked with us right throughout this process from the get-go. We had quite a lot of general public engagement as well. So we had 2 or 3 stages of wide public consultation. We also had some very well attended stakeholder workshops in Waterford in April 2018. Very well attended, which provided a lot of key input. So the key for me on this is that this is a co-produced document.
Yes.
So everybody has signed up to it.
Yes.
Okay, whilst our members have the mandate, if you like, to formally adopt it, everybody who's contributed to it has signed up to it, and therefore they've bought into it and feel ownership of the content of the document.
What's your vision for Waterford, Tramore, Dungarvan over the next 12 years?
My vision for Waterford, as it's set out in the strategy, is really to become a city which is very attractive, which is growing, and which is attractive for inward investment, but also attractive to live and work and stay. We need to build the heart of the city, so it becomes a very vibrant, attractive place, not only for people to live, but also for visitors when they come. We need the concentric growth of the city. So that means an element of growth on the north side, the North Quays, into Ferrybank. So you have the nice growth of the city. I think, I genuinely believe this, that Waterford is at the cusp of something great. I really do think there's great potential in the city. I'm not from Waterford myself, Damien. I'm living here now almost 20 years.
Where are you from?
I'm an Offaly man originally, so we won't talk about hurling at the moment.
Or
Camogie, absolutely, yeah. That a hard day yesterday against Galtier, but congratulations to Galtier, they stuck with it right up to the end. But I was very impressed with Waterford from the time I came to it. I just felt the potential of the city is something else. The history, the character, the heritage of it. And then within 5-10 minutes drive of the city centre, you have these wonderful beaches.
Yeah, it's had a tough time. People can't, when the glass closed, and all the knock-on from that, and then and now retail again is suffering at present because of the North Quays not developing. And then if it does, you got the retail experience over there, and people are wondering, should they develop in the city or should they wait? All that thing. So that has to be sorted. No, it does. And I think you're right. I think there is, I suppose, a piece around confidence. And I suppose people have to see things happening for that confidence to start building again. But I think when it does, I think if people really get behind this and support what potentially could be great for the city, I think Waterford really can play a huge role, not only for Waterford itself, but for the whole South East region and the country. Because, we need our 3 cities in the southern region strong to act as a real counterbalance for Dublin. Each of them on their own are not going to do it independently, but working together, they can create a real counterbalance for Dublin for that inward investment. The executive summary is good, as these documents go, and I've read a lot of them over the years, and the, I suppose, synopsis is quite good. People can access it through Southern Region Assembly. Yes. Just type in Southern Region Assembly. Absolutely. And they'll be able to access us through that. It's the Metropolitan Area Strategic Plan. There's mention of Tramore in it, there's mention of Dungarvan and other towns and villages around, and how the cluster effect may develop and work with different areas. David, thank you very much. No problem. We're on the cusp of a wave. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I genuinely feel that. I genuinely believe that Waterford is on the cusp of something really good. Look, obviously the North Quays have to make it happen, though. The North Quays will be a huge game changer. But I think everybody has to row in behind it and make it happen as well. David Kelly, thank you very much. No problem. Coming up next, we're going to have the competition. You can stay along, David, for this and answer the 30 questions, huh? Here we go. Now, welcome back to the programme. 083 3333 975. I'm going to be talking to Colette in a second. Firstly, your texts and comments coming in. Damien, it takes time to turn a ship around. What does Waterford Airport cost since it opened? Does David know? I don't think so. Other people texting in there. I've read the complete report of the South East Assembly. Looks very poor for Waterford and aligned city and towns, Kilkenny and Wexford. Keep your texts and your comments coming in, please. 083 3333 975. Colette, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. I'm wonderful. What's the weather like in Vickerstown this morning?
It's lovely. It's a lovely, bright, sunny, fresh morning.
Excellent, excellent. Colette Manahan, is the address Vickerstown, Modeligo, is that it?
It is, yeah, that's where we are.
Congratulations, and thank you everybody for texting in. Give me a break. You've got through, so have you ever done anything like this before? Did you ever do anything like this before, Colette? No?
No, not live on the radio, no.
You're grand. Don't be nervous now. Don't be nervous.
I'll be grand.
Yeah, you'll be grand, exactly. It's all a bit of fun. It's a bit of crack. And I love these competitions because people love to answer the questions themselves as well at home. So we want people to see how many they can get in 30 seconds. Again, this is all part of Select Hotels of Ireland. Chance to win a 2-night breakaway, including breakfast and dinner on one night for 2 people sharing. The the prize today is the Middleton Park Hotel in Cork. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd love it.
Lovely, yeah.
Anywhere would be lovely.
Exactly, yeah. Apart from maybe Northern Italy at the minute, but we won't talk about that. So listen, all you have to do, you have to answer as many questions as possible within 30 seconds. I'm not going to give the answers out until the end, okay? So just keep answering. And if you want to say pass, just say pass, and we'll see how we get on. And I'll keep an eye here, and Julie keep an eye and see how many you get. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little timer countdown, and that's 30 seconds long. So that'll be going in the background. Is that all right?
Yep, no bother at all. So
don't worry about it. You'll hear it in the background and see how it goes. So 30 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. I think a gentleman this morning got 5. So 5 is the number to beat. You ready to go, Colette?
Yep, I'm ready.
We'll give it a go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Arachnophobia is the fear of what?
Spiders.
What was the lead singer? Who was the lead singer of Nirvana?
Kurt Cobain.
Indiana Jones and Han Solo were both played by which actor?
Pass.
In which country are the pyramids located?
Egypt.
How many colours appear on the Japanese flag?
3.
Who was the first man to step on the moon?
Pass.
How many years are there, and you can take your time on this one, how many years are there in a millennium?
1,000.
1,000. OK, very good. You didn't do too bad. Well done for your first time ever, Colette Manahan from Vickerstown. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. You got that right. Kurt Cobain, Nirvana. Well done. Harrison Ford was the answer for Indiana Jones. You passed on that.
I could see him, but couldn't.
It's so different as well doing it live on air, isn't it? Totally different.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it is. You got the pyramids right. There's actually 2 colours in the Japanese flag. You said 3. There's 2 colours, white and red. Neil Armstrong, I'd say you just had a blank on that. Yeah. And how many years are there in a millennium? That's 1,000. So well done. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I count 4 correct, unfortunately. Hard luck.
No bother at all.
You did well, Colette, and it's a good experience, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to say hello to anybody?
Just everybody at home.
And where everybody down in Modeligo, is it?
In Modeligo, yeah.
Lovely. Listen, Colette, thanks so much and hard luck. And we'll just double check that he got 5 this morning. If it was, then if not, we might be giving you a call later. But listen, thank you so much for entering, okay?
Okay, thanks, Damien. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Colette. So that's Colette there, who unfortunately I think didn't get through to our final for our special competition today. That's courtesy of Select Hotels of Ireland. Middleton Park Hotel is the Gimme a Break. So we're going to have another one tomorrow. And have a listen to that for tomorrow. Some more of your texts and comments coming in about the picketing at the hospital. Other people saying about going in past the pickets and some people honking and beeping and all sorts of things like that. Give me a break. My daughter lives in Middleton but is getting married in Fate Leg. I'd love to go down for a weekend away, says that person. No problem. We are back with more after this. Now, in a few seconds, I'm going to be talking to Ben, Advocacy Lead on Adult Learners Week, a very important subject for so many different people. Also want to say a special well done to everybody involved in Waterford hurling over the weekend and the footballers. They had some great performances. Unfortunately, the result in Thurles didn't go to plan, but live to fight another day. And well done to the footballers on clawing back a great result against Carlow. There's going to be a big launch as well this Wednesday night regarding Club Deise in Waterford City, so we'll be talking about that tomorrow and on Wednesday. Ben Hendrickson, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. Thanks for having me on today.
Not at all. Pleasure, and thanks very much for coming on. Your advocacy lead with Aontas on their Adult Learners Week. Tell us a little bit about Aontas, please. Just remind me, what is Aontas?
Not a problem. So we're the National Adult Learning Organisation in Ireland. So we're an all-country and an all-island organisation. So we work to promote the benefits of adult learning, and my job as an advocate lead is to work for policy changes that make it more easier for people to access education all the way through their life. And today we're actually celebrating a big event. It's our Star Awards, sort of the Oscars of adult learning in Ireland.
Wow, the Oscars of adult learning. So there's a festival taking place. It's a week-long celebration. It's starting today, running until the 6th of March. So there's information, events, classes, workshops across the country. And it opens, as you say, with the Star Awards. Tell me a little bit about these awards, please.
Yes, the Star Awards, this is the 14th year of the Adult Learners Festival, so it's a week-long series of events, and we have events all across the country. It's actually over 300 events, and we kick it off with, as I said, the Star Awards. So this is an event that 22 organizations from across the country have been shortlisted for awards. 7 will receive awards today. I'm actually at the Law Society in Dublin today, where we're hosting the event, so I'm sort of stuck away in a room talking to yourself, which is great. And it was just opened right now with keynote speaker from Hilary Rose from the Young Offenders, so I'm sure a lot of your listeners will know who she is. So
yes.
She kicked off the event this morning, and now we're actually just getting into the awards portion. So there's awards for things like access to third level, health and well-being, social inclusion, and sustainable employment as well. So really focusing on adult learning across sort of the whole spectrum of why people go back to education, from employment purposes, but also for self-development and just getting back into the community.
Okay. Adult learning, is it still an issue, Ben? Like, you'd expect most people these days to have a certain competency when it comes to adult learning. Or are there still people out there that don't know how to read and write properly and are still quite nervous about even talking to anybody about it?
There's definitely, there's issues with literacy and numeracy, but really, adult learning is about not just that, although that is a big focus. It's really just about being able to learn new skills all the way through life. And,
yes.
Research and data that from the European Union and from the Irish government shows that if people have a third-level degree, they're very well likely to continue learning throughout their life. So they'll take courses throughout their life. They'll be upskilling not just for their personal employment, but also for their personal, health and well-being and their personal benefit. But if you have dropped out of school early, if you're an early school leaver, or you don't have that sort of history of learning in your family, you're much more likely to not participate in learning. And there's evidence from all over, from the UN, from the EU, that if people participate in learning, there's better outcomes for their health, there's better outcomes for their families, finances, all of those types of things. So it's really important that we're promoting adult learning, because it is really one of those things that it's not just about that individual, it's about their children, it's about their community. So there's those knock-on benefits both for themselves financially, from a health perspective, from a mental health perspective, but it's also those benefits that then get accrued through their community as well, and ultimately through our whole country.
Yeah, and I know a lot of details can be found through your own website, Aontas, that's AONTAS, and then there's onestep.up.ie, that's onestep.up.ie, ONESTEP up.ie. And there's groups and, I suppose, contact points around every city and county, isn't there?
All over the country. If anybody's really interested, thank you for pointing that out, the onestep.up.ie. If you're interested in sort of the policy side of it, go to our website. But if you're interested in becoming an adult learner yourself, or you're not sure where to start, you sort of have that idea that you want to participate, but you don't know where to start, go to onestep.up.ie. So that's all spelled out, onestep.up.ie. And we also have a free phone helpline. So for people who might not be familiar with the internet or know how to use computers that well, you can call 1-800-303-669. So that's 1-800-303-669. And my colleague Sam, he will speak to people who call in, and he can direct them to guidance services around the country, to their ETB, to community education centres, all across the country. And there's things and opportunities that you definitely don't know about that are sitting in your backyard. And it's really great to be able to, if you have that urge to, learn something new, it doesn't have to be a formal accredited course. It could just be, a hobby or something, or to participate in something going on in your community. Call One Step Up, or call the number for onestepup.ie. Sam will be happy to help you. So again, that's 1-800-303-669.
Okay, listen, it sounds good. You might come back to us again soon, and we might try and talk to some people who have actually involved themselves with adult learning, whether it's at the basic stage or maybe more development stage. Ben, please keep in touch, won't you?
We'd be happy to set that up, and especially maybe with some of our winners today who will be getting awards in the next hour or so. Okay, well, listen, we'll let you get back into the award ceremony. Ben, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. All the best, Damien. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Benjamin Hendrickson there. Aintus Advocacy Lead and Vice President of the European Association for the Education of Adults. We covered an issue regarding fraud this morning. We did text in. Damien, I just received some phone calls this morning from an international number. A friend of mine received a call last week and she hung up. Then another person rang back saying they were a supervisor to the original caller, and how dare they hang up on her. They are professional fraudsters. That's a very interesting scenario that's been put across. Damien, here is a photograph of some cleaners at the picket line helping to push a car that was stuck at the hospital the other day. Other people texting in about the issue of the strike. Damien, the cleaners in Arkeen do a great job, not an easy job, such a busy spot. Terrible when a company comes in and uses outside or different contracts. Promote staff, and we have to try and develop staff within the area, says this person. I hope management in the hospital prioritise. Other people saying that it is quite difficult on the picket line, both for those that are picketing and then those that are going, I suppose, in to do their work and have to do their work. So we haven't any developments yet regarding how the strike is going to spread. If it is going to spread, will there be other areas called out on strike? We will know that possibly during our news bulletins later on this morning. Now, a special mention, Linda and everybody in the Chamber, and Gerald, well done to everybody last Friday night. An amazing night, and everybody in the Tower Hotel as well on the Chamber / WLR Waterford Business Awards. Owen Dalton was there for us, Owen, our reporter, who works also with the Munster Express, and he put together a little business package just to celebrate, I suppose, all that is positive and good about Waterford business.
Over 300 people attended the Tower Hotel on Friday night to celebrate the best in Waterford business. The awards were organised by both Waterford Chambers and WLR. Proceedings were opened by the Mayor of Waterford, John Pratt, and Waterford Chamber President, Jonathan Earle.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted as Mayor of Waterford City and County Council to represent the people of Waterford tonight as we celebrate 39 great organisations which have been shortlisted in 13 categories. In reviewing this year's shortlisted businesses for tonight's awards, I am reminded of the wealth of talent, innovation and creativity that is evident. The range of businesses here tonight represents the full range from indigenous startups, agri-food and agri-food tourism to large-scale multinationals.
Waterford County Chief Executive, judges, distinguished guests, welcome to the 6th Waterford Business Awards. Tonight is about showcasing you, the best Waterford has to offer, and your success. Congratulations to all 39 shortlisted. While there'll only be 13 award winners tonight, all of you now are business leaders in Waterford, if you weren't already. Not because you were shortlisted, but because of what you did in order to get shortlisted.
The first winner on the night was Michael Kelly's GIY for Community and Social Enterprise.
Michael, congratulations, I suppose, will be what's in order here. What's it been like, I suppose, in GIY? Because, I mean, you just seem to be going from strength to strength over the last couple of years.
We were absolutely delighted. It's a brilliant honour and great accolade for all the team. It feels like slightly kind of two-track in that, our impact certainly feels like it's been scaling up very dramatically, and we've gone to from a very small organisation to supporting. This year we'll support about 670,000 people to grow some of their own food for the first time in programmes we run across Ireland and the UK. So it feels like the growth has been, pretty stratospheric in some ways in terms of impact. And then, like every organisation and every, local organisation in Waterford, we just face the same challenges trying to, make our business sustainable and profitable. And we're a social enterprise, which means any profits we generate, we circulate back into the business. But in every other way, we're just a small business trying to pay our way as well. So on that level, it's been incredibly challenging, incredibly frustrating at times. There's been lots of ups and downs, but we're very lucky to have the support of the community here in Waterford to help us make it all work, and thankfully we're all still here creating value in our community, employing lots of people. We've nearly 30 staff members at this stage, which we're really proud about. I think all of those people feel very connected to the mission that we're doing.
Topping some of the categories on the night were the Cliff House Hotel in Ardmore for food and beverage, and Quisha's Super Value of Tramore for excellence in corporate social responsibility. Meanwhile, it was a big moment on home soil for Deise CEO Rob Leslie, who won Entrepreneur of the Year.
It's the first award we've actually won in Ireland. And we've won maybe 20 awards all around the world, from the World Economic Forum, from the Spanish banks, from Swiss banks, but we've never won anything in Ireland. So thank you very much to the Chamber, to all the judges, Gerald, and most importantly to our staff, because you can't build a company without great people, and we've got some really great people, so well done to them as well.
And well done to you, and thank you for coming back to Waterford and setting up Deise. Best of luck.
Elsewhere, Flavins walked away with the award for marketing excellence, and Ashley Environmental took home, appropriately enough, the Environmental Excellence Award. Small Business of the Year went to Dunmore Adventure Centre, Technology and Innovation to Red Hat, Tourism Activity Attraction of the Year to House of Waterford Crystal, and the Training and People Development Award was won by Hartley People. It was also a big night for Fresh Food Courtyard in Dungarvan, who were awarded for retail excellence. Owner is Jimmy Burrows.
We're only heading into our third year, and the big one for us was winning Shop of the Year last year, and to be honoured with an award between all these top-class businesses tonight is an exception, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a really tight category, all right. What do you think sets you apart?
Well, I suppose the food industry is very tough. It's very, very value-driven. To me, it's all about quality. Everything we do is about supporting local, so getting as much local ingredients as we can and putting everything together in our store. In our deli, we make everything in our kitchen, from our salads to homemade ready meals. In our butchers, we prepare all our meats, and 98% of what we do is done in store. But the main thing for me is all about customer service. It's all about going that extra mile and looking after people. Over the years, I felt, particularly in the last maybe 5 to 6 years, that was going out of our trade, particularly butchering, that was coming to a beep, 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 and out the door, and that little personal touch was gone. And that was the main focus we put into it. It's all about the customer at the end of the day.
New Business of the Year went to Everett's Restaurant and was accepted by co-owner Keith Noonan.
When I saw the other two entrants in the category, or the two nominees, Monkey Cups and Won the Waterfront, I was like, well, it's great to be nominated and we'll have a good night, but wasn't expected to be standing here on the stage to collect it.
Talking to the judges about this beforehand, again, another category, because as a new business going forward, the same criteria applied about how you develop the business.
Oh, totally, and like it's how do you compare the businesses? So different businesses, but such brilliant businesses to have in Waterford. Tourism is so important for Waterford, and also climate change and environment is so important for Waterford, and what Melo is doing in Monkey Cup is absolutely brilliant, and what the guys are doing in Won the Waterfront, they took a building that was in badly need of repair, but it had a beautiful view, and they had a vision, and they could see what it could really mean to Waterford to create what they're creating. So I don't know how they managed to pick us in our small little restaurant, but I'm delighted.
We are committed within WLR to Waterford rising, the idea that Waterford is growing, it's getting better, it's developing. Do you see that? Do you feel that?
Oh, totally. I'm a blow-in, so I'm only living in Waterford for the last couple of years. It's Peter, the joint owner, my husband, and head chef is the Waterford original. But I can totally see, even in the couple of years that I've been living here, how much the place is coming on, and especially in the food industry, obviously, that we would be in. We had Grow winning the award earlier on tonight. They're doing such great jobs. We have really excellent restaurants in the city and in the county, and definitely the food offering that we can offer in Waterford is really second to none now, I think.
Thank you very much. Well done. Congratulations.
Credit should also be paid to the hosts, who helped proceedings along in their own way.
As one of the most successful local radio stations in the country, WLR's only source of revenue is from advertisers and sponsors, and we greatly appreciate the support WLR has received from you, Waterford businesses, over the past 30 years.
And given what he was earning in RT, Damien is particularly grateful.
Bada boom!
The Ambassador of the Year award was presented to John and Peter Queally of Dawn Meats. Michael Queally spoke on behalf of the brothers, with Waterford Chambers' Gerald Hurley doing the introductions.
Two brothers from Kill and Dunhill, County Waterford, who've dedicated their lives to both their families and their businesses, and are synonymous with the food and agricultural sector, not just here in their native Waterford, but nationally and internationally. From pig producers and beef farming to fresh and cooked meat processing, mineral water, pet food, cold storage, the brothers now control one of Europe's largest food groups, with a turnover in excess of €2.5 billion and a workforce of 9,500, with over 1,200 in Waterford and the South East, contributing significantly to the economic vibrancy of Waterford.
Just on behalf of Peter and John, I would like to thank the judges and the Chamber for this prestigious award, which we, our families, our business partners and staff will take great pride in. On reflection, I suppose there have been three main ingredients to the work lives of Peter and John. Hard work, common sense, and most importantly, our loyal and dedicated staff, both past and present, to whom we dedicate the award. We are conscious that the Chamber has had many to consider for this award. So once again, on behalf of Peter and John, the wider Queally family, our business partners and staff, a heartfelt thank you. Thank you very much.
The final award on the night was Overall Waterford Business of the Year, which was announced by Mayor John Pratt.
And the overall winner is Bosch and Lom.
Well done, Bosch and Lom. Congratulations. Big cheers. Well done.
The multinational is marking 40 years of manufacturing contact lenses in Waterford, and also picked up the Exporter of the Year award. Bosch and Lom directors Paula Tebay and Tony Power accepted the award.
There's been so much happened in the plant over the last probably 10 years. So it's great that in our 40th year that we'll be recognised not just as one of the biggest companies in the region, but an integral part of the business within the city. So it means a huge amount to the plant.
It's a lovely thing to kick off the 40th anniversary.
It is, yeah, because February 40 years ago, that's when Bosch & Lomb would have opened its doors here in Waterford. So I suppose for all the employees, past and present, some of them have been here tonight, so all delighted for us, and to have worked in Bosch & Lomb. We've put some work in over the last 10 years, as Tony is saying. We have another expansion going on, so we're working a lot on that. A lot of building works going on, so people have been putting up with a lot of change as well. And we're rapidly growing all the time and moving with the times. And I think that's something that we heard tonight as well, where people are saying, like, we have to keep moving forward.
I mean, for the company's point of view globally, it's a great show of faith in Waterford as well. It's been through a lot in 10 years between redundancies, cutbacks, expansions that were put on hold in the last expansion that we did. So it's a great show of confidence from the corporate group as well that we can deliver this in the city. So the Waterford plant now has kind of become the centre of excellence definitely within the Lens Group worldwide, which is great for the city, not just for the business that we're in. So it's a huge vote of confidence.
We have about 1,500 employees here at the moment, but again, then we've all the ancillary services that are feeding into Bausch & Lomb. Then it's the salary that's going into the economy every week. So not only are we in Waterford, we're employing people from Kilkenny, from Wexford, from Carrick, Tip, all those places as well that are taking the time and travelling into work every day. And it's a great place to work.
It's a great place to work. Congratulations to Bausch & Lomb, everybody working there. Congratulations to all the winners and those that made the finals. And thank you very much to Owen Dalton. A superbly put together package. Takes a lot of work to get those things together. And well done, Owen. Really, really well put together. Maria's texted in regarding Irish banks. Damien, I got a WhatsApp message last week purporting to be from an Irish bank, telling me my online bank had a problem and that I had a link. It had a link for me to press. I just junked it. I deleted it. Guess what? I don't have an account with that bank. So people have to be very, very careful, all right, regarding those matters. A few people have been sending me in pictures of purporting to be of some of the cleaning services in the hospital at present, regarding medical waste bins and raising the issues of what is happening at the minute regarding the cleaning and the sluice rooms and different areas because of the strike that's going on. So they're saying basically hospital management should get involved and should step in to try and do something about this, and that there should be some issue sorted out as quickly as possible to make sure that the dispute is brought to a resolution to help those make sure that the cleaning is done and that it's done to the standards and that people are happy going to work. That's what people are calling for. Now, thank you very much for all your texts and comments. Thanks everybody for their engagement with the programme on a Monday morning. We hope you have a lovely day today. Jeff is up next with some great music, and we're going to have Sinead and Emer with our news throughout the day. If there's any developments on that strike, you'll hear it here first on WLR. Looks like it is going to be a nice day. There'll be some showers later on in the afternoon. Have a good day. We will talk to you tomorrow. From Damien Tiernan and from Julie, the producer extraordinaire. Talk to you soon.